My presentation is on transgender basics. What is a transgender? Transgender is when you denoting or relating to a person whose self-identity does not conform unambiguously to conventional notions of male or female gender. It's a man who denotes themselves as a woman, or a woman who denotes themselves as a man, or even somebody who doesn't feel they fall under either, which is known as a genderqueer. The video that I watched featured a man who had surgery to turn himself into a woman who turned himself into a man, and a genderqueer. This is the ideal flowchart for what makes up your norm of a male and female. You have a male whose gender role is just you're supposed to be masculine. That's what's expected from you. You're supposed to think of yourself as a man, and you're supposed to be attracted to women. But if you're a female, it's the opposite. You are supposed to act feminine. You're supposed to think you're a woman, and you are supposed to be attracted to man. Now, when you're filling out paperwork and you get to that point where you have to check out, are you a male or female? Some major problem with that is some people don't know what they consider themselves, or they don't know if they are transgender, if they check what they were first, or what they identify themselves as. These are just definitions of what's what in the past chart. Gender role is a public, social, and perceived acts of gender expectations. That's basically like what is expected out of children, for example. Like their toys, clothes, like boys, they're expected to play with trucks, and girls are expected to play with dolls, and they're supposed to dress in certain ways. Like it's frowned upon if a girl dresses like a tomboy after a certain age. Like when they're little, it's cute if they're a tomboy, but as they get older, it gets frowned upon, and they're supposed to act more feminine. And gender identity is self-conception of one's gender, sexual orientation, who one is attracted to. And a major point this video makes is all gay people are not transgender, which is apparently a major misconception in the world, which I found surprising because I never thought of it in that way. Now this is an ideal, as opposed to one before, which only had an arrow going down. This one has an arrow going across, forming kind of a spectrum where they could check off where they end up. For example, if they think of themselves as more of a male than a female, they might be more towards this side of the spectrum. Or they could just choose whether they're more masculine or feminine, whether they like men or women more, and what they consider themselves. So this is a good alternative to like when filling out paperwork or some stuff like that. And basically, in conclusion, transgendered people have a lot of hardship, especially as they're growing up, when they're trying to find out who they really are. Like growing up can be really tough, considering they aren't used to anything. They don't know what is right, so they have all these confusing feelings in their head, and they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. They have the problem of expressing their true selves because society creates these norms, which I showed before. So basically, they have to adjust themselves and be who they really aren't until they feel comfortable enough to come out and be who they really are. And our job in society is to make people feel more comfortable being themselves.